What does anxiety look like in a teen? Now, I put out a story the other day and I had an amazing engagement with that. So, thank you for everyone who did take part in that quiz. But it was really interesting to me to see what people thought. And yeah, I really want to talk to you about that now. What does anxiety look like in teens to help you as parents to sort of identify whether your teen's going through this or not, or try to make sense of the conversations that you're having at home with them. Now, of course, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not making a diagnosis. I would never make a recommendation with your medicine or anything like that. But from the training that I've had in hypnotherapy and obviously, helping hundreds of teens, from the symptoms and things and the information that they've shared with me and what the parents have shared with me, this is what I can see is I'd like to report this to you and I'd like to share this with you. So, number one is the teen will sometimes they find like a pain in their throat. They find it hard to swallow. They really know what they want to say. They've rehearsed it even, but the words are not coming out. And it's like they're just sunken deep down. And the harder they try to expel and to speak, it's just not happening. Number two, their heart beats really fast and they can hear it pounding in their ears, so it's pretty loud. And sometimes, it can be quite alarming and their chest feels like it's about to explode. And obviously that's really worrying as a parent, and, more than likely you're going to want to seek medical attention and go and see a doctor. Sometimes, and actually this is probably one of the most common ones, is a stomach ache. Kids will stay off school, saying they've got a tummy ache or a stomach ache. Many times for me, when I was a teacher in the classroom, all those many years, how many children say, "Oh, miss, I've got a stomach ache, can I just go to the medical room?" And they just needed time out. They had an amazing sort of wave of anxiety that they just needed to calm down. And it was generally around a test. We kind of knew that that's what was going on. So these stomach aches, they trigger countless doctor visits, emergency trips to A&E, which are obviously, how it is, Mom. Being a mother myself, how long those A&E visits take. They're not quick. And, you have to get babysitting done for the rest of the kids, and there's a lot going on, parking, there's a lot. And, with the NHS, especially, in the UK, it's really difficult to get seen. And when you do get seen, there's no diagnosis. They're like, "Well, Mrs. So-and-so, we can't really find anything wrong with them. Why don't you just sort of go home and get some rest," and things like that. Now, what I've noticed as a teacher, ex-teacher, is that they get a real tension in their face, and they look stressed. And, they're stressed and they won't be happy about any good stuff that's happened. They could have scored a really good high grade, but it doesn't really do anything for them. It doesn't give them a dopamine hit, because it's like, well, I've got the next test and I've got that exam to prepare for, and it never ends. So they're in this loop again, feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed. And like I say, hundreds of clients that I've actually worked with, and coached, this is what they've told me for those with anxiety. Now, some of those teens, they go mute and they make a decision not to speak. And they don't speak in the classroom or in front of family members or friends or, acquaintances, because they don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves to get the answers right. Maybe previously they were pretty confident in their abilities. They would shout out the right answers, but they're that one time when they shout out the answer and it's wrong. And then they've now made this belief system that they're no good at school, they're no good at a particular subject, let's say it's maths, and it's not true. And it's just from there, they just lose that self-trust. I'm not as good as I thought I was. My parents said I was this and I'm not. And they go inwards. Now, sometimes parents and teachers, they won't know any of the symptoms, as, the teen will hide it really well. They'll continuously sort of push themselves forward consciously, just trying to get the attendance up, keep the grades at a certain average, make sure everything's ticking and looking great on the outside. But inside, it's just the amount of energy that's expended in doing so is just totally draining and soul crushing. And it's like there's nothing left inside of them for fun, for social activities, or even chores. Now, I'm not making excuses for them, but it's true. And unfortunately, they get called lazy, or they get called, oh, they're so awkward, there's no social skills. And the thing is, it's not true. They have all those skills inside of them, but they just spend so much energy just trying to keep a lid on it, when they're at school or when they're out in front of teachers and in front of their peers, and it is exhausting. And if you as an adult have anxiety too, then you totally get where I'm coming from, right? Now, what does it do? It leads them to becoming withdrawn. And they attend the basic engagements that they have to, namely school. They know exactly the number of days to attend so that their attendance is just right, and you know what to do. But that's what they do, and they do that as self-preservation. They're not doing that because they're lazy and they're trying to get out of school. They're doing that just so that they can keep going. It's there for them to so that they can show up, so that they can still live some remnants of a life, but it's hard. And what I would say to you, and I keep saying, dear parent, dear mom, dear dad, be their cheerleader, be their coach. You've got this. They're your baby. Your baby's still there inside of them. I know they're a teenager, and I know they could, respond in a rude way and, hurtful way, and, maybe even swear. But remember, your kid is still inside there, and they're, somebody who's angry is basically someone who's in pain, and a hurt person will hurt other people. So it's about finding the root cause, why they hurt, what's causing the pain. Now, of course, I can help you with that. If you want my help, then I can help you transform them into a happy high achiever. I have this great group Fearless Confidence program lined up, and I'm here ready to help your teen. Just type Fearless Confidence or FC in the comments, and I'll send you the details. And just be wary. Encourage their attendance for your child. Encourage their attendance to where they're celebrated, not where they're tolerated. All right, so where they're celebrated, not where they're tolerated. So that applies to yourself as parents. It applies to their family members, grandparents, aunties, uncles, and obviously their peers. These aunties and uncles or family members who make cutting comments about their hair, about their skin, about their weight. Remember, they're teenagers. They're going through hormonal changes. Be careful of what your kid has to sit through, all right? Because you know what it's like. Honestly, even at this age of, in my 40s, I can really get upset if somebody makes a comment about these things, about the way that I look and the way I should dress and don't dress. So just be wary, okay? Go where they're celebrated, not where they're tolerated. So again, if you want my help to transform your anxious teen into a happy high achiever, leave the word FC, and I'm going to send you the details of my group coaching program, which is way cheaper, more affordable, fraction of the cost, and really good value. So give it a go.